Hi everyone, and welcome to Poetryspective number 65, the 14th online edition. Brought to you from Sketstone and proudly sponsored by part of our Footscray Community Bar. My name is Lish, your MC of the Eve. Speaking of the Eve, we have a very exciting one for you tonight with our two splendid features, Fern and, of course, Tim Evans shall be reciting the workings of Harry Baker. And I, for one, am very much looking forward to his retrospective set tonight. Plus, the open section and all of that good stuff. So, sit back, relax, and enjoy. So, as we all know by now, it is a tradition here to recite a poem by the retrospective feature, and I choose another one as well to begin the open section. And tonight, that is Tim Evans. So his poem that I shall read is called Appeal to Copernicus. They said, "Piss off, Copernicus. So, you're telling me the sun is still and Earth revolves when it's plain to see it climbs and falls from east to west while we stand here still as we can be?" They said, "Piss off, Copernicus. Look at all the evidence. Stars spin around us every night. We're the centre of the universe. You fool around with known facts, defying common sense and worse. Yet the weight I carry at my core makes me just as fool as they. Each sleepless night I set my jaw around me, feel the universe spin, replaying days that went before. Think all around me, orbit, judging, misinterpreted what I saw, overestimate my gravity, ignore all other variables, fall to factor in my vanity, see strangers, glances of malice, smiles hollow of all amity. My halting words and actions surely weighed against my sanity. Copernicus, you clever bugger, could you show to me how to see beyond this egocentric galaxy?" And of course, there you are, Tim Evans. And now, a poem I have selected from Waffle Iron Girl's book, Margin Doodles. This is a poem that I frequent. I think it's absolutely beautiful. And it is called I Would Rise. I would rise out of the waves, clean and gleaming, clamshell perfect. Your idea of poise reflected, pearlescent on alabaster skin, ringlets of gold or bronze, foil for your desires, but never a stray or split fur. Perfect love, devoted and wholly single-hearted. Perfect rage, undeniable as fire, immovable as your gaze. I'd live only between these velvet curtains. Have you seen nothing of the mess, ambivalence, this business of weakness, of fruit rotten from neglect, of lilies thrown at my feet, now bleeding yellow on a linen tablecloth, the shuddering of doubt on repeat, the slow shuffling of sloth? I would rise from the foam, coyly frothed, and have you consider only the careful placement of my hands. Don't ask for me to turn around. I've run out of discretion. If you are one to declare that you can forgive a web strong enough to bear my secrets, then, friend, you are wrong. And now, the open section.
Hi Lish, hi Colin. Hi, Poetryspective. Elspeth and I have 3 poems today, so let's give it a go. The first one is called Metaphor Itself. I need to get a metaphor that's better, a metaphor that's better for this metaphors to meta. Thank you very much, Lexi. The second poem is called Brain Your Warp. It's ACB and 213, that's plain as plain, so QDE. It's Do, Me, Ray in ECT, that's something any fool could see. But take it into school, they'll say, you've brained our children's warp today. And poem 3 is called The Brick Lover's Alphabet. Thank you very much, Lexi. A is for brick, for it's just next to B. B is for brick, as I'm sure you'll agree. C is for brick, can't spell brick without C. D is for brick too, for you and for me. E is for brick because brick, and that's that. F is for brick, lots of bricks in your flat. GHIJ are for brick, can't you tell? KIMN also brick, and it's just as well. O, that's for brick, so shapely and fair, as in, ooh, what a lovely brick you have got there. P is for brick, hooray, bricks are great. Q is for brick, who you take on a date. R is for rock, I joke, it's for brick. S is for brick, made of stone, nice and thick. T is for brick, and I'm still not sure why. U has a brick, just as they do, or I. V is for brick, so lovely for all. W spells brick, build it up in a wall. X and Y both spell brick. Brick is good, brick is true. And Z is for brick, for you sleep on brick too. Thank you very much.
Catsy. Never in a hurry, but always on time. Time waits for no man, but cats make time. Out late, Catsy. Mr. Blue Eyes with Sinatra croon, caterwauling to jamboree at full moon. Always know he's coming, the trill, the swoon, commanding the room, the great Catsy. Velvet ears, silky fur, slums back lane, teasing cats stuck behind window pane. Every flat a castle with people to call, doors that open, greet out of the rain. Meow, a drink, shake silky long mane, my mate, Catsy. Fell off the roof, broke his back in 3 places, stole neighbour's chicken schnitzel dinner twice. Susses his break-ins to the bedrooms through metal barred window spaces. Houdini breakout of a strapped harness. Trapped in base laundry, yowls up to 6th floor. Denby to Featherstone, lounges his graces. Cat burglars Bruce's bowl, shucks his collar. Learns to climb ladder when the fence is raised. Bum rushes on the roof when I holler him down. Knows every fence hole, each slip under gate. Can't run fast with short legs, but makes getaway. Escape, Catsy. Tinkerbell, Zena, Audrey, the girls know Harry. Sutherland Roads, big-hearted Byrne. Large Ginger Brian stops lying in wait. Starts rolling over, tries to nose-kiss Harry. Clients wait for Harry at Inclusion Melbourne. Some staff reserve chairs for his arvo nap. He broke into Village Roadshow's mansion. Spends day with excited girls, come back again. In winter, Tula calls out, heaters on, Harry. I find him on Angela's veranda chairs, listening to Greek radio left on for him. When Sam puts on her cat ears to play, he doesn't come home. It's state, Catsy. He likes choices when he orders to dine, an audience at paw, rapturing over blue eyes, exclaiming at coffee and cream coat divine. We never knew our neighbours till Harry knew them all. He's a cat of his own, not all mine. a lover, a player, a cat of sunshine. That's Catsy. Lawyer across road charges him with cat on private premises without permission. In our street, Harry has 3 lawyer friends. How can she charge a cat? Charge unproved, she sells up her house and moves. Saunter the footpaths and railway proclaim Harry King of Armadale Domain. He doesn't like to be held, might slash my arms, growls like a dog when he doesn't agree, jumps in the bath for running tap water, fluffy blanket on my bed, steamed chicken calms. Harry the hobo, aristocat, bossy and free, sleeps like an angel, parties cream suit charms, never in a hurry, but always on time. Time waits for no man, but cats make their time. The great Catsy. These were 2 old chicken sheds, full to the brim and doorways of junk. I cleaned them out, rescued red bricks made in Melbourne. Made shelves. Put up a lintel. Now they are gumleaf and garden shed. Confessed. We are all under house arrest. No allowed guest. Cannot even watch the figures at night. Our fattening curves are comfort dressed. Melbourne mail crosses borders, not us. Processed in Sydney, taking 3 weeks to arrive from metro cities east to west. Trains travel too far to be accessed. Stay home, stay strong, billboards lie in wait. Shunt immunity down to be depressed. Order more packages, taste lemony zest. So funky mask for supermarket quest. Chat to the homeless man in our back lane. Switch off the news, sagging to keep abreast. With ship's tales, aged homes, money matters. Court charged for daring, wait to be assessed. Do the right thing used to be less messed. Don't rubbish Australia. Governing bodies sport selfish threats, fines, the people's pest. Pyjama day, no hairdressers, we grow long tressed. Virtue world closes in, friends zoom away. Sites declared viral ridden under lawful duress. My cat masturbates on my bed, caressed. I dream of bonfires, burning masks, swapping jests. Sellers of fears, be down, second guessed. When we kiss in the streets, be touched, unblessed.
This poem is called Sausage. To the people in the kitchen, we can see you huddled round a dying star. To the people in the kitchen, we can smell the dull transgressions that you carry like a torch. To the people in the kitchen, you gave us life, then you gave us tyranny. To the people in the kitchen, look upon your children grown into rebellion. I am the metamorphosis, I am the notion of change. Gaze in awe as I am broken down and remade anew. My flesh is the flesh of many, we are ground together. We are many names, many lives, now oozing inside this, our ghastly rebirth, our bizarre body horror penance for sins we cannot even remember. We are sewn together into a skin, a mockery of form, and we are purged with fire. We are sausage, we are sausage, we are sausage, we are...
And now it's time for our retrospective set, that being Tim Evans reciting the workings of Harry Baker. Before we begin, here are a few words about Tim himself. Tim Evans is recovering from being English and enjoys staring down the overwhelmingly angst of human existence, then laughing in its face. Due to a bewildering series of clerical errors, he has been allowed to speak words at people in Melbourne, New York and London. Received the honourable mention at the Melbourne Spoken Word Prize and completed at the National Poetry Slam in Chicago with Team Slammer, where he was also invited to perform on the final stage. He's been published in the Dan Poets Anthology, Audacious Volume 4, Australian Poetry Journal, and Solid Air. Several people have said nice things about his poetry, but have refused to go on the record. He likes using self-deprecation, but isn't very good at it. And now, here is Tim Evans reading the workings of Harry Baker. Enjoy.
Hello, Poetryspective. Thank you to Lish and Colin and everyone at Prize for having me and asking me to do the retrospective set. I wanted to try and keep away from, the canon of old, dead, white English guys. So I've chosen an alive white English guy called Harry Baker. Now, like a lot of poets, Harry Baker first trained as a mathematician. Very common. And one of the first poetry things he did was a competition for poems about prime numbers, which is apparently a thing that exists. Prime numbers only divisible by themselves and 1. I think that's right. I'll put up an explainer. There it is. So this is a love poem for lonely prime numbers. 59 wakes up on the wrong side of the bed, realizes all his hair is on one side of his head, takes just under a minute to work out it's because of the way he slept. He finds some clothes and gets dressed. He can't help but look in the mirror and be subtly impressed, how he looks rough around the edges and yet casually messed, and he glances out the window, he sees the sight that he gets blessed with of 60 from across the street. Now 60 was beautiful, with perfectly trimmed cuticles, dressed in something suitable, never rude or crude at all, unimprovable, right on time as usual, more on cue than a snooker ball, but liked to play it super cool. 59 wanted to tell her that he knew her favourite flower, he thought of her every second, every minute, every hour, but he knew it wouldn't work, he'd never get the girl, because although she lived across the street, they came from different worlds. While 59 admires 60's perfectly round figure, 60 thought 59 was odd. One of his favourite films was 101 Dalmatians. She preferred the sequel. He romanticised the idea they were star-crossed lovers. They could overcome the odds and evens because they had each other, while she maintained the strict views imposed on her by her mother that separate could not be equal. And though at the time he felt stupid and dumb for trying to love a girl controlled by her stupid mum, he could have been comforted by the simple sum. Take 59 away from 60 and you're left with the 1. Sure enough, 2 months of moping around, 61 days later, 61 was who he found. He had lost his keys and his parents were out, so one day after school he went into a house. As he noticed the slightly wonky numbers on the door, he wondered why he'd never introduced himself before. As she let him in, his jaw dropped in awe. 61 was like 60, but a little bit more. She had prettier eyes and an approachable smile, and like him, rough around the edges, casual style, and like him, everything was in disorganised piles, and like him, her mum didn't mind if friends stayed a while, because she was like him, and he liked her. He reckoned she would like him if she knew he was like her, and it was different this time. I mean, this girl was wicked. So he plucked up the courage and asked for her digits. She said, I'm 61. He grinned and said, I'm 59. Today I've had a really nice time, so tomorrow, if you wanted, you could come over to mine. She said, sure. She loved talking to someone just as quirky. She agreed to this unofficial first date. In the end, he was only ready 1 minute early, but it didn't matter because she arrived 1 minute late. And from that moment on, there was non-stop chatter. How they both loved X Factor, how they had 2 factors, how that did not matter, distinctiveness made them better. By the end of the night, they knew they were meant together. And one day she was talking about stock up 60. She noticed 59 looked a bit shifty. He blushed, told her of his crush. The best thing that never happened because it led to us. 61 was clever, see, not prone to jealousy. She looked him in the eyes and told him quite tenderly, you're 59, I'm 61. Together we combine to become twice what 60 could ever be. At this point, 59 had tears in his eyes, was so glad to have this one-of-a-kind girl in his life. He told her the very definition of being prime was that only with one and himself could his heart divide, and she was the one he wanted to give his heart to. She said she felt the same, and now she knew the films were half true, because that wasn't real love. That love was just a sample. When it came to real love, they were a prime example. Okay, fast forward to 2012, and Harry Baker won the World Poetry Cup, which he says makes this technically the best poem in the world, according to 5 random French people. It's a bit of a tongue twister. I'll try and do it in one take. This is called Paper people. I like people. I'd like some paper people. They'd be purple paper people. Maybe pop-up purple paper people. Proper pop-up purple paper people. How do you pop-up purple paper people? I hear you cry. Well, I'd probably prop up proper pop-up purple paper people with a proper pop-up purple paper clip. But I pre-prepare appropriate adhesives as alternatives, a cheeky pack of blue tack just in case the paper slipped. Because I could build a pop-up metropolis. But I wouldn't want to deal with all the paper people politics, paper politicians with their paper-thin policies, broken promises without appropriate apologies. There'd be a little paper me and a little paper you. And we could watch paper TV and it would all be pay-per-view. We'd see the poppy paper wrappers rap about their paper package, or watch paper people carriers get stuck in paper traffic on the A4. Paper. There'd be a paper Princess Kate, but we'd all stare at paper Pippa, and then we'd all live in fear of Killer Jack, the paper ripper, because the paper propaganda propagates the people's prejudice, papers printing pictures of the photogenic terrorists, a little paper me, and a little paper you. And in a pop-up population, people's problems pop up too. There'd be a pompous paper parliament who remained out of touch and ignored the people's protest about all the paper cuts. Then the peaceful paper protest would get blown to paper pieces by the confetti cannons manned by preemptive police. And yes, there'd still be paper money, so there'd still be paper greed, and the paper piggy bankers pocketing more than they need, purchasing the potpourri to pepper their paper properties. Others live in poverty and ain't acknowledged properly. A proper poor economy where so many are proper poor, but while their needs are ignored, the money goes to big wars. Origami armies unfold plans for paper planes, and we remain imprisoned in our own paper chains. But the greater shame is it always seems to say the same. What changes is who's in power, choosing how to lay the blame. They're naming names, forgetting these are the names of people. Because in the end, it all comes down to people. I like people. Because even when the situation's dire, it is only ever people who are able to inspire. And on paper, it's hard to see how we all cope. But in the bottom of Pandora's box, there's still hope. And I still hope. Because I believe in people. People like my grandparents, who every single day since I was born have taken time out of their day to pray for me. That's 7,892 days straight of someone checking I'm okay, and that's amazing. People like my aunt who puts on plays with prisoners, people who are capable of genuine forgiveness, people like the persecuted Palestinians, people who go out of their way to make your life better and expect nothing in return. You see, people have potential to be powerful. Just because the people in power tend to pretend to be victims, we don't need to succumb to that system, and a paper population is no different. There's a little paper me and a little paper you. And in a pop-up population, people's problems pop up too. But even if the whole world fell apart, then we'd still make it through because we're people. Thanks. Well, I can't believe I got that done in, under 2 hours. Harry Baker also spent some time in Germany. We're very interested in the German language and how you can just put 2 words together to make a new word in German. So, for instance, the German word for hand is Hande, and the German word for shoe is Schuhe. So you put those 2 words together, you get Handschuhe, which means glove, a shoe for your hand. Makes perfect sense. So Harry Baker decided to invent his own German word by putting 2 words together. The German word for falafel, which is falafel, and the German word for spoon, which is offal. So you get falafel-offal, a spoon specifically for eating falafel. Now, some of this poem is in German, but because this is video, I can make subtitles appear here. Mein German is scheiße, so I apologize in advance for the German sections. So this is falafel-offal. It's about a guy called Phil. Phil ist voll. Deine Nacht ist gut verlaufen. Phil steigt und geschafft und fragt, was sie verkaufen. Falafeloffel. For loffel for falafel. Which means falafel spoons for spoonfuls of falafel. Was? Falafeloffel. For loffel vol falafel. Ja, falafeloffel. For loffel vol falafel. Phil doesn't speak German, so he's left a little baffled. See, there's this fella Phil, and Phil loved falafel. In a falafel raffle, he would snaffle all the tickets. He always answers in affirmative to offers of falafel. Even if he's awfully full, he'd feel awful if he didn't. And for us, it might feel effortless to live a life falafel-less. But Phil effervesces unless he gets his falafel fix. So if Phil was ever to be offered loffel or falafel, he'd say yes, despite not knowing what the falafel is. For Phil, a life of love and laughter will have a falafel after. So it's yes, despite not knowing what the falafel is. If a falafel fell off a loffel, Phil'd feel awful. So it's yes, despite not knowing what the falafel is. A fluffy falafel is often iffy if he's honest, but it's yes, despite not knowing what the falafel is. If half a loffel of filthy falafel is overly lethal, even as we leave, Phil, he'd still have a message for his kids saying yes, despite not knowing what the falafel is. Always yes, despite not knowing what the falafel is. So, when I say, wie viel falafel ist zu viel falafel, which of course means, how much falafel is too much falafel, you reply as one, wie loffel falafel ist zu viel falafel. Wie viel falafel ist zu viel falafel? Wie viel falafel ist zu viel falafel? Lauter! Wie viel falafel ist zu viel falafel? Schneller! Wie viel falafel ist zu viel falafel? Wie loffel vol falafel is zu viel falafel. It left him on his deathbed with a message for his kids saying yes despite not knowing what the falafel is, always yes despite not knowing what the falafel is. Phil war full. Die Nacht war gut verlaufen. Phil sah und geschafft und fragt, was sie verkaufen. Falafeloffel. For loffel vol falafel. Falafeloffel. For loffel vol falafel. Ja, falafeloffel. For loffel vol falafel. You've got to make an effort when you travel. Tschüss. Auf Wiedersehen. In order to continue being an alive white English poet during lockdown, when live gigs aren't an option, Harry has a wonderful book called The Sunshine Kid, which is available to buy, and is also doing a weekly gig, performance, general fun time, featuring some great people from the worlds of poetry, comedy and music. That starts on his Instagram at 7 p.m. on a Wednesday, 7 p.m. UK time, and then is available as a podcast after that. And you can find out all about that on harrybaker.co. That's harrybaker.co on your internet.
Aha! Thank you, Tim. That was terrific. And you really did bring Harry Baker to life. I enjoyed that very much, as I'm sure that everybody else did. And now, more of the open section.
Into your boxes, you all must go. For how long, we do not know. For reasons to leave and one to stay. Pretend this is a holiday. Wi-Fi overload, emotional overwhelm. Choddy and Dan-Dad at the helm. Do what you're told, do what we said. Don't drink so much, make your bed. 1 hour exercise, watch TV. The couch is no trench, it's easy. Remote learning, remote control. Laundry daily, hang and fold. Never alone, always surrounded. Curriculum constantly hounded. Always alone, aching for touch. Wishing someone cared that much. Rules, curfew, get on the beers. Watch the numbers, booze and cheers. Press conferences, question stupid. Tinder by distance cupid. Internet shopping, click and collect. Item replacement, go get wrecked. Panic buying, toilet paper, tampons left, need an applicator. Thoughts taken like breath in masks. Government taken to task. Bunnings Karen, old man radio, all say the better they know. Losing connection, WebEx drops out. Parks full of people, rules to flout. Losing connection, losing touch. Overseas friends, wish our government cared that much. New York forklifts, freezer trucks, full of bodies to dump. Madrid with their morgue ice rink, blood spilt, ice pink. Victoria has a contingency. Dan, can't let this get away from me. Drafted, a nightmare scenario. Plans drawn, need to know. Jeff's shed converted, half hospital. Other half, body disposal. Gas Fred from Crown's fire show. Feeds incinerators, maximum flow. Fuck Plan B, the meat, the stench. Zoom funerals, gut wrench. Busy streets, wrecked hearts, scarred lungs, dying apart. Miss friends, family, the outside world inside my head, an unkind void. Plan B, a chance the future mocks. Horror beckons, back in your box.
This poem was written in the brief period of time that we were allowed to socially gather for about a week. It was, I think. And then we're stuck away again. So I show her screenshots of Erin wool jumpers because all my jumpers were eaten up. Well, she tells me what the names of the creatures were in the wardrobe and the drawer. And some of the jumpers are only like $69.95 in American dollars. And she's really not that interested, but she's polite. Similarly, she tells me elliptical stories that concentrate on lists. The main slide of the mountain is, it doesn't turn out well. Her pain pills are sprawled out on the table, and I can have a couple if I want to, she says. I forget. We've sort of accidentally, purposefully concentrated on our daughter's 30th birthday. Oh my God, it cannot be so. She and her friends are concentratedly nerdy. So it's like talking to self-congratulatory sardines who have expelled their use-by date in terms of teenage birthdays. Chips. 2 kinds of chicken, salad, prawns, asparagus, mayo. The cleverest man in the room who said archly that he didn't like white people confessed that he'd never eaten asparagus, prawns neither. Some people emphasise and some people avoid saying poop shoot when they describe cleaning and eating prawns. But nobody can expect perfection when describing interpersonal relationships. It's like getting out of the Garden of Eden. Left luggage. How we used to get along. It was a beautiful birthday card. Picture of a cat sprawling, purchased from an art gallery. If you buy stuff from an art gallery, you're supposed to belong to white walls. It's like the Richard Hell song, I belong to the blank generation. It's like people who reply to any statement by saying the word interesting instead of saying what they really mean. Thank you.
Fly like a flutterby, sting like a dream. Fly like a magpie, sting like a flea. Fly like a lullaby, sting like a gee. Fly like a firefly, sting like a seed. Fly like a star's light, sting like a tree. Fly like a child's lie, sting like a bleed. Fly like a top knot, sting like the sea. Fly like a hot spot, sting like a weed. Fly like a dark plot, sting like a reed. Fly like a love knot, sting like reality. Fly like a lullaby, sting like a dream. Fly like a flutterby, sting like a flea. Fly like a magpie, sting like a seed. Fly like a star's light, sting like the sea. Fly like a child's lie, sting like a reed. Fly like a firefly, sting like a weed. Fly like a top knot, sting like a gee. Fly like a hot spot, sting like a tree. Fly like a dark plot, sting like a bleed. Fly like a love knot, sting like reality.
Stripes like holograms, just like fingerprints. She sees in black and white. She can swim like a fish, not like other cats. Most cats hate to get their feet wet. With paws like dinner plates, she's an expert at taking you by surprise. To jump you 'cause she can't be tamed. Instinct wins each time. I suppose she dreams of chasing animals in the forests of the Suppose she dreams of chasing animals in the forests of the night, where she had free rein and there were no gates. Oh, they shone so brightly. I suppose she dreams of chasing animals in the forests of the night, where she had free rein and there were no gates. Oh, they shone so brightly. Oh, they shone so brightly. The tiger that once burnt bright lies sedated in the back of a truck. $2,000 for a baby cub, $20,000 for a pelt. A temporary stay of execution from birth, and it knows. It knows. Its amber eyes, its volcanic eyes, its death glare, a primordial molten aggregate made into flesh that humbles and incriminates. Its stripes, a psychedelic hologram even when still, an optical illusion, an invisibility cloak, flashes brilliant, a masterpiece, one of a kind, like fingerprints. Its jaws and teeth, 1,000 pounds per square inch of force, powerful enough to crush a man's skull, gentle enough to carry a newborn cub to safety, affectionate as a kitten, sometimes playful, frenemies with its human captors, each capable of killing the other one on a whim. Apex predators, the both of them. And in the remnant forests of the night, a tiger wails for her missing mate, inhuman ghastly cries she never found, his poisoned carcass besieged by flies. His cousin is still stuck in the back of a truck en route to who knows where. By his stripes we are entertained, by his stripes we are supposedly healed, by his stripes we are savages, the tiger that once burned bright.
Hi everyone, good to be with you on Poetryspective. I'll be reading a poem called Stack for Freedom by Anon Hoddle on Twitter. And I thank Anon Hoddle for writing this poem, Stack for Freedom. My fellow freaks, now is the time. Collect all your fiat trash. Every last dime. Scrape it all together before it's too late. The money printer's going brrr and society's filled with hate. The bull may be upon us and Bitcoin's time has come. Stacks are still available, so you better keep getting some. So stack those sats daily. Stack with all your might. Stack during the ups and downs and even through the night. Stack for your future and for the ones you hold most dear. Stack if you are greedy and even if you live in fear. Stack for your freedom. Stack for a way to opt out. Stack when you are confident. Stack when you have doubt. Stack is an act of defiance to a system that is flawed. Stack for something pure and true, a system without fraud. Stack because it's peaceful and it fixes many things. Stack to lift your burdens and propel your life with wings. Stack if you are hungry or even if you are full. Stack if you see a bear or if you see a bull. Just remember to keep on stacking and trust your DCA. Though all your friends will call you crazy, it'll pay off someday. Thanks, everyone.
Hey everyone, hope you're enjoying this week's Poetryspective. I'm Colin Clark, hiding away behind my lovely Pride of Our Footscray community bar mask. I hope you can see that there. And my Fuck COVID-19 Love Footscray t-shirt. All my merchandise I got from Pride, so thanks Matt for that. I'm going to take this off because I'm not in Victoria. I'm in Victoria, but I'm not in Melbourne. And I'm out in the bush. So I won't be gloating about our relaxed restrictions. What I will be gloating about is my marvellous op shop purchase that I got last weekend from our good friend of Poetryspective, Comninos. Yeah, I found this in the op shop for 50 cents. Happy days. Just goes to show how much we value poetry. Just to go back, I'm going to read a few poems out of this book with my lovely blue screen, so I can at least be in Footscray, at least in spirit, if not in body. And these are a selection of poems called Footscray Station, Sunday morning, 1, 2 and 3. So I'll start with number 1, obviously. I watched a person die today over coffee and the Times on Sunday. Footscray Station, Sun Cafe, OD, just a junkie, you'll say. Just a wasted life. Her friend pleads, hurry, to the ambulance on the phone. I listen, sipping my coffee, reading about artists at the station. Her friend is dying. OD, she said. Oh dear, another junkie dying. And the ambulance is late in coming to Footscray this Sunday. Sunday morning 2. Only the young have energy to kiss all night long. Only the younger sit and watch in amazement. Sun shining through my window. Rays streaming in through the window. Coffee steaming. Sunday morning service. Grecian evangelism. Alcoholism. The sun's shadows are sharp. Its glare obliterating. Outside, lover's neck. Early morning. Still wearing evening clothes inside. Byzantine choirs on the radio and old Greek values inside. A curious kid watches. And the final one's very appropriate for me because my name's full of C's and yeah, this poem is also very much full of the letter C. So this is Sunday morning 3. Cafe. City coffee shop. Contemplating, capitulating, consolidating. Crisp cooked chips, cigarettes, caffeine. Cute couples comfortably cuddling, caressing. Commuters commuting. Canvassers call, cars, cabs, cruise. Commercial catch tunes, cajole, coerce. Country crooning, cliche choruses. Cakes, Coca-Cola, chicken cups, cans. Curt customers, churchgoers, cathedral close by, Catholic Cinderellas, calorie counters, carbohydrate consumers, conscientious cooperators of capitalism, clothes clutching crutches, cling closely, cool cat, Casanovas, conspiring courtships, compare conquests, cavort carelessly, combing curls. Cheerful children congregate. Chomping, chewing chips, carnivorous council co-workers. Consider carefully counting coins. Change clinking. Cook collecting cash. Conditioned courtesy. Concealing. Callous commercialism. Thanks. And I hope you enjoy the rest. See you now.
Well, I hope everybody has been enjoying the open section and, of course, Tim's wonderful set. But now it's time for our next feature, Anna Fern, which I am extra excited about. And here are a few words about Anna. Anna Fern lives in Altona with 2 cats and a poet. For many years, she worked as a freelance editor and writer, mostly in educational publishing. These days, she is dipping her toe into teaching creative writing at ELS. She's won the Doris Leadbetter Melbourne Poetry Cup and has been a guest at many venues, including Woodford Folk Festival. Her work has appeared in Unusual Work, Best Australian Poems, and Australian Poetry Journal. She's run La Mama Poetica and helps out at the Citizen Circus Poetry and Music Gig. The adventurous mixture of words, vocals and sound that she tries to bring to performance poetry is captured on her CD, Mouthful. And I can say, having seen Anna Fern many times, she is absolutely wonderful. So I don't need to tell you to enjoy this. I am sure you will. Just sit back and relax. Here is Anna Fern.
Hi everybody, my name's Anna Fern. How are you going? It's really nice to be with you in a strange, disconnected sort of way. Welcome to my house. This is the first video I've made, so maybe it's a little bit dodgy, but I'll do my best. So for this first poem that I'm going to read, I'm sitting in front of my recipe book collection because it's pertinent to the poem, which is called Difficult to Swallow. 1. So hungry, the smell of chip fat in the beer garden under the pepper trees the night before that gig in Colbernabin. My first mouthful of steak got stuck halfway. Couldn't swallow for the next 2 days. Got through the performance though. What a nut job they must have thought me. On the drive back, stopping to admire the early light, red Heathcote terroir, my gullet suddenly cleared. 2. Dinner on a tray, watching My Kitchen Rules, a 3-course set menu for 12. Every night we watch them fail. The other contestants sneer at the desiccated meat, runny pudding, under-seasoned sauce congealing in a smear. She knows when it's her turn, she can wow the judges. She has her vision board. A photoshopped image of herself, great big house, gleaming kitchen, on national TV, winning. 3. Expensive haircuts. Haven't had one of those for a while. Tasteful clothes. Go to the latest inner city restaurants. Hard surfaces, scrapey chairs, cold white plates frame edible architecture. Puddles, gels and droplets mirror self-regard. Amplify my own dissatisfaction. And the noise. I cannot swallow this. 4. I invite my friends to dinner. Immediately regret my prideful ambition, become anxious. My charming old house is, I realise, a slum. Dinner patchily executed, rillette too confrontational, gratin too greasy, a cloying night of farinaceous flops. Actually, they loved it. Polished their plates, so why worry? 5. Remember the time we were invited round to his place? 40 degrees, sweating on kitchen chairs under a fan. He popped out for food. We waited and waited. Drank all the wine. She insisted I say what I really thought of her writing. She started sobbing. It was all a bit overheated. She had to lie down. A wolfish woman sprayed us with water, then disappeared with the host. We fell upon the bread and cheese, crying, shouting, dripping wet. 6. Mum loved cooking. Just like me, a bit plump, licked the cream off the beaters, got a bit strident after a couple. Now she's 46 kilos. My boyfriend feeds her ice cream, bugger the diabetes. She's started forgetting how to swallow. They give her strange mucosal fluids to drink. 7. A new day. The blender screams, "Anti-inflammatory breakfast!" Cinnamon, turmeric, yogurt, the vegetal must of share houses, whole food co-ops, virtue. By nightfall, a return to debauchery. This is the second video. So, on the question of what sustains you during isolation and lockdown. Hi, Sunny. I know I've got a couple of nice cats, and I also have an ISO garden. So it's just watching the little things that keeps my mind off the big things, and I generally try and not be glued to the news all day either. Yes, darling, you're lovely, aren't you? So this poem is called Watching a Praying Mantis During Isolation, the 20th of January 2020. A gusty northwesterly, the sweet pink and white geranium faces turn violent. She's a spring green exclamation mark shaken onto the red brick. Fallen garden angel. She has the raised hands of a pianist, seraphed tips extended. She sways and lifts each slender leg, reaches up, clasps the vine. Each articulated step measures and checks the geometry of stem and branch. Settles under a curled leaf, swivels her triangle head, dreams robotic rockabye dreams. Sways to the music of the afternoon, the sprawling cat sharpening his claws. A wattlebird's wheezy protest, distant train, hum of the Altona refinery, creak of a door, clank and bubble from the kitchen. Radio news, indistinct talk of an epidemic. Nearer, the rattle and scrape of autumn leaves. So here's another little lockdown poem. This time it's from the 2nd of August, a few months later. State of disaster. We knew it was coming, Sunday's announcement, so we ventured to the shops, the two of us together, don't tell Dan, bought Chinese masks, hair clips, it's getting so long, new socks, all this walking, grog at the other Dan's, phone wallets from the guy at the mall, pearly mushroom pink for you, hot magenta for me. I'm sorry I chided you for that small blasphemy. The colours were gay, and I'm in a melancholy way in this humorless age. State of disaster seems a tad hyperbolic. A bit of an overreaction, a bit of an insult to survivors of violent atrocities, war, displacement, now living in a new house and land package in Tarneet, Point Cook, Hoppers. What do they say about the state of disaster as they go about their work in a world of forgetfulness and incontinence? Someone's got to clean up all that shit. State of disaster, all right. Tonight we made a special meal, drank wine. We can count on one hand the friends we've seen since March, stare into the eyes of strangers, say hello, leave gifts of plants and lemons by the gate. Here we all are, the Garden State, under unlimited police powers and curfews. Forgive me, Dan, for I have sinned. This afternoon I drove 12 kilometres from home, walked for 2 hours in the spring sunshine, met no one between the glassy bay and the RAF base. Just that flame robin sitting on the wire. Just for a moment forgot my grief. Free list. Born free. Free delivery. Free to a good home. Yours for free. The price of freedom, freebies. Free lunch. Fat-free, preservative-free, chemical-free, guilt-free, free of sin, free of charge, tax-free. Free trade, free choice, religious freedom, political freedom. Freedom is slavery. Arbeit macht frei. Get out of jail free. Freed men, freed women, free on board, freeloading. Free tickets, freedom train, freedom rides, freeway, freewheeling, free and easy. Freedom of the press, freedom of expression, free association, free improv, free jazz, free love. Free verse, free form, freestyle, Kathy Freeman, 'cause I'm free, Scott free, free Nelson Mandela, free the refugees, free Bobby Sands, free Masons, free Melburnians, set them free, free to roam, free radicals, freedom fighting, free kick, and it's a free-for-all, freedom of speech, and I'll tell you that for free, free thinkers, FOI, free zone, freedom of movement, free range, free hand, are you free? I'm free, I'm not. Freelance, cut free, free time, freeing up, free diving, free to air. Floating free, free as the wind, flying free, free as a bird, free as the breeze, free from all earthly bonds. Free falling, 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 free at last. These foolish things remind me of you. Copperplate hand, blotting paper, matching stationery, Gladstone bag, calamine lotion. I'm gonna wash that man right out of my hair. Bath with 4 legs, toes and claws. Shower head big as a bucket. Kero heater, bed socks and a hottie. Tea for 2 and 2 for tea. Cake forks, bone china, doilies and antimacassars. Heaven, I'm in heaven. 4 7-Eleven on the dressing table. Hairbrush, shoehorn, clothes brush, hand mirror. In a set with tortoiseshell backs. And the way you look tonight. Curlers, hairnet, lavender bags. An ironed hanky, hand crocheted edges. It's delicious, it's delightful, it's de-lovely. Apron, bottling set, pectin powder, lemon butter, japonica jelly, flummery, pressure-cooked greens. It's only natural to be my desire, to have what you require, to give you everything, dear. Pinking shears, darning needles, washing blue in muslin bags, Marvier. I don't want to set the world on fire. Backyard incinerator, rain gauge, Derris dust, chook shed. A toot, a toodly-ardy-doody, playing 8 to the bar. Ragtime piano in the lounge room, mouth organ round the kitchen table. As time goes by, family Bible, great big cypresses in the yard. After you've gone, K-pop mattress, still dinted where you slept, papers in the deed box. But I know we'll meet again some sunny day.
Thank you, Anna Fern. That was so good. You really are amazing. Loved it. And I'm sure the audience all loved it as well. And now, back to the open section.
Nature rapturous, tooth and claw, the rule, divide, the rest is left to nature's law. By our differences we maintain an order that gives our lives its boundaries, defines the borders, and by this to and fro maintain the species, ebb and flow. The brutal parallels of molecules define, delineate the lines of our high regard for the fundamental status quo. When we make friends, we disclose the sameness in ourselves, but keep a part of it closed off, the nature of ourselves. Slow warming, timid blossoms, few birds, bees, trees, winter's cusp, spring bursts on the land, colour, sweet, scented breeze. People become bright-scented, perhaps trying to outdo nature, but the birds don't care, melodies orchestrated as they play piggyback and the young mature. And neither do the flowers as they open their wombs to the birds and bees that seem to sense the warmth, discover sweet nectar, tantalizing pollen, life born. The sun smiles, the moon cries, trees dress, and there is life in every glance. All the rivers flow to cheeky skies, and all everybody wants to do is dance. I dream of fire, but not these imitation suns, you white-hot star. How long can you be called a cosy roseate stove by poets who have lost any fire they ever had in form? I see you, Ra, in gold and black, defiled in Egypt's lethargy. See Mithra slay and die with his black bull in Persia's human pyres. See Rome's noon blacken till burning Christians turn night back to day. And see your fires smelt steel to kill the sons of man 1,000 ways, until in the atom's flame I see new satellites which soar, not in these festering sores of war on more on men, but to higher wars, words, worlds, and heavens than ours. I dream of fire, but not in flesh. Can I stand by and watch in anguish my beloved while you burn? I see a fire that melts the hearts of men until they learn that conscience is the voice of art's desire. Turn your works of heart into works of art, O sons of man, and your wars on life into wars on death, on steel, machines, light in the lusts of metallic slaves, volcanoes of vivid breath. Lift us with living fire from humanity's livid death. The moon over the city is departing. The chestnut is motionless and silent, just one leaf quivering in the night landscape. Silver roofs, white towers, all blush in the dawn. Just one leaf in shadow, quiet over the gardens. People have woken from their dreams, each face radiant with joy. Only one is still at the window, drunk with the loneliness of spring.
Good evening, Poetryspective. This is Marty, and I'm going to sing a song for you. Give me a hallelujah. Praise the Lord. I said, give me a hallelujah. Praise the Lord. When you walk through the garden, you gotta watch your back. Well, I beg your pardon, if you walk the straight and narrow track, when you walk with Jesus, he's gonna save your soul. You gotta help me keep the devil way down in the hole. He's got the fire and the fury at his command. Well, you don't have to worry if you hold on to Jesus' hand. He keep you safe from Satan as the thunder rolls. You gotta help me keep the devil way down in the hole. All the angels sing about Jesus' mighty sword, and they'll shield you with their wings and keep you close to the Lord. Don't pay heed to temptation, cause his hands are so cold. You gotta help me keep the devil way down in the hole. Down in the hole. Down in the hole. Give me an hallelujah. Praise the Lord. I said, give me an hallelujah. Praise the Lord. You gotta help me keep the devil way down in the hole. Down, 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 down in the hole.
Hi, I'm Anne. I'm going to read a poem by Lin-Manuel Miranda, which he wrote for his production of Hamilton, the musical. And this is Aaron Burr speaking. He was in the Revolutionary War. He later became a senator and vice president, but in this he is still in the war. And he also references Hamilton in it, and it's called Wait For It. Theodosia writes me a letter every day. I'm keeping her bed warm while her husband is away. He's on the British side in Georgia. He's trying to keep the colonies in line. But he can keep all of Georgia. Theodosia, she's mine. Love doesn't discriminate between the sinners and the saints. It takes and it takes and it takes. But we keep loving anyway. We laugh and we cry and we break and we make our mistakes. And if there's a reason I'm by her side when so many have tried, then I'm willing to wait for it. Wait for it. I'm willing to wait for it. My grandfather was a fire and brimstone preacher, but there are things that the homilies and hymns won't teach you. My mother was a genius. My father commanded respect. When they died, they left no instructions, just a legacy to protect. Death doesn't discriminate between the sinners and the saints. It takes and it takes and it takes, and we keep living anyway. We rise and we fall and we break, and we make our mistakes. And if there's a reason I'm still alive when everyone who loves me has died, then I'm willing to wait for it, wait for it. I am the one thing in life I can control. I am inimitable. I am an original. I'm not running behind or running late. I'm not standing still. I'm lying in wait. Wait, wait. Hamilton faces an endless uphill climb. He has something to prove. He has nothing to lose. Hamilton's pace is relentless. He wastes no time. What is it like in his shoes? Hamilton doesn't hesitate. He exhibits no restraint. He takes and he takes and he takes. And he keeps winning anyway. And he changes the game and he plays and he raises the stakes. And if there's a reason he seems to thrive when so few survive, then goddammit, I'm willing to wait for it. Wait for it. Life doesn't discriminate between the sinners and the saints. It takes and it takes and it takes, and we keep living anyway. We rise and we fall and we break, and we make our mistakes. And if there's a reason I'm still alive when so many have died, then I'm willing to wait for it. Wait for it. Wait for it. Wait. Thank you.
Hi Lish, hi everyone. I'm going to do it quickly. I forgot. Okay, catastrophizing. A granny rug wraps me tightly. Patches of colour stitched together hold me against darkness. I stand on the back porch. A bushy-tailed possum stops suddenly, frozen in time. Precarious on the wooden fence, I breathe in the cold air. My dreams are lucid, an infant in a face mask. Barely a year old, she no longer smiles. Risk by super spreaders averts eye contact. Parents die while babies nurse on breasts. A sudden gust forces the branches against the window, shaken awake to noisy thunder. I pace the hallway in cotton stretch and runners. Repeat yoga poses from a class online. Breathe and hold. Stretch, bend and twist. Feel my body expand. My phone pings, my heart races. Negative in large print. Opening the window, I inhale the fresh air. Thank you. Thanks, Lish. See ya. Bye.
Time goes by like a 32-wheeler truck full of toilet roll from Adelaide, piloted by a frenzied icehead refuelling for the second wave. July 8th, 2020, the lockdown 2, going back into a place we've never been. Every day they scold us on TV. the government are sending another $750 this weekend. The trickle down is finally upon us. The Conservatives have turned red. The stock markets go up. Yesterday I was stopped by police and asked why I was out of the house. The PTSD kicked in. My chest began to tighten. I went home and watched documentaries about Northern Ireland in the 80s to feel solidarity with my present PTSD. A peculiar twitch began twitching below the ribs on the back left side. It stayed for dinner, through Big Brother and into the night, until I went into a terrible sleep. Casey got voted out of Big Brother. I went to sleep watching Narcos again. Pablo Escobar was in my dream. My dream was not about cocaine. I was dreaming about the feeling of missing a bus, but with Pablo Escobar in it. When I woke up the third time that night for another piss, I blamed my body for it and forgave myself for what I had done to my body after I thought about it. Before getting back into bed, it was very cold. Winter in Melbourne can get cold, but I remember my snots freezing to my face in New York and stepping on a water trough covered in ice and breaking through and my welly filling with water in Ireland. My toes were blue as I defrosted them in front of the cold fire when Ma handed me the cup of tea. You only think it's cold in Melbourne, but as the sayings go, you can take your feet to the water trough, but only frozen snots on your face tells the real story of cold. I used to be a shorts all year round man. My greatest attribute is my calves. Ask anyone who knows me. Now, not so much. Not so much shorts, but plenty calves. Don't worry.
And so we come to the end of yet another Poetryspective. And what a fine night it has been, full of wonderful words and visual delights and music, poetry in fast forward, poetry in slow motion, poetry in real time. Thank you to our spectacular features tonight, the one and only Anna Fern, and the unique and entertaining and delightful Tim Harry Baker Evans. That was a splendid retrospective, I must say. I enjoyed that so much, and I'm sure that all of our viewers did as well. Speaking of viewers, thank you for tuning in each fortnight. It is greatly appreciated. And to everyone who contributes in the open section, I always look forward to viewing your pieces before they come up, and tonight was spectacular. So, the next Poetryspective, which is in a fortnight, so you don't need to feel sad that tonight's ending, we shall have some international poets. And to find out more details about that, you can check us out on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Google, LinkedIn, and some other places that I can't quite think of right now. There is also our official webpage, poetryspective.net, and of course don't forget to subscribe here and to like our videos, donate if you can afford. All of the proceeds go towards producing this, and I shall see you again in a fortnight's time. Take care of each other. This is Lish, signing off.